All right, what's up, dickheads? I'm gonna make this recap pretty quick because I just filmed all of it and I was on fucking mute the entire time. So there was 4 trades I went over, or I liked today. I took 3 of them. And before I actually get into that, I'm gonna go over today's price action, yesterday's, which was March 10th, and then Monday's, which is March 9th as well. So stay towards the end of the video. There was CPI today, as you guys know. A lot of you probably got it cooked. Codes in the description if you guys need money off of your account. So that being said. We had CPI, and whatever this fucking CPI wick was, I don't know what the hell it was. Typically, we just trend one way, either up or down. This was like a manipulative ass wick, and then after seeing the 750 candle, I was like, yeah, CPI is probably not gonna be the best. I actually did do it on these 2 brand new alpha evaluation accounts. If you guys don't know, they have a max allocation of 5 now, so I was trying to get max allocated with them. I already have 3, and I fucking blew the account, so it is what it is. But I ended up taking a few trades today. Here is my trade sinker. I ended up making $3,500, which is only about 100 something across each account. And then on my top zip accounts, I made about $350, which isn't a lot. Shout out Dachi. Anyways, my first trade of the day was this 3-minute continuation prior to market open and prior to CPI. I really liked it. Typically, I like to see a 5-minute continuation, but we ended up getting a 3-minute right here. And I actually, when I went ahead and journaled this, I journaled it as a A- trade just because we didn't have it. But I really like the draw and liquidity. Draw and liquidity is super clear. We had these equal lows right here from yesterday, which I'm going to go over later on in this video. But these relative equal lows with this low right here, and then we had an unfilled 4 hour with LR to the left of us. So I really like this. We also had data highs right here that are going to come into effect for the next trade I go over. But this trade was a break even. I had a quick break even at these internal lows right here, and if I was right, I wanted to see him just continue to flush through. I went break even. I was kind of getting edge in my break even, and then we finally got stopped right here. So this was my first trade idea. Went ahead and journaled it. Whatever. Awesome. Okay, moving on. We ended up coming up. Like I said, we had data highs, and then boom, we had a 5-minute continuation model right here. Now I faded this setup even though the draw and liquidity is pretty good just because I was so worried about these equal lows beneath us. We left them yesterday. Okay, we just left another set of relative equal lows right here. We have all this LR to the left of us, unfilled 4 hour beneath us. Like, the draw and liquidity lower is just so fucking, like, I wouldn't even say obvious because we're not going ahead and hitting it, but like, dude, I don't want to be longing against that, and I'm going to go over that yesterday's trade recap, which is going to be later on in this video as well, because there was a 5-minute IFPG that I sat out of because we had those equal lows. But there was this 1-minute continuation model right here. Dude, I always click the wrong one. There was this 1-minute continuation model right here that I actually ended up thinking we got to close with this candle. And this was a beautiful trade. My stop loss would have been right here. My TP would have been towards these data highs. And it would have been about a 1 to 3, 4, 5 trade. Or I actually think the close was right here. Yeah, the close was right here. It would have been a 1 to like 4, 5, 6 trade. And I told myself as I watched this play out, I was like, okay, I'm fine with this playing out. It is what it is. But if I am going to enter this, like, my stop loss would be below this 1 minute for value gap. And actually, I don't even think this trade would have seen like a fucking ball sack here of profit. 9:30 opened up, we ripped straight to data highs. I'm like, okay, cool. At this point in time, now I can look for shorts, right? We just took out data highs. However, we had these 1 hour highs above us right here. So I wanted to see actually these get took out before we ended up shorting. We did have a data high SMT. If we got an immediate V-shaped recovery off of this, I would have go ahead and shorted, but there wasn't really nothing. We kind of just chopped around and left relatively good highs up here. And then we chopped back down. And when we chopped back down, what did we come back into? Well, we came into this 15-minute gap. Okay. My girl's playing hella Dominican music right now. We had this 15-minute for value gap right here. We ended up coming down into this 5-minute gap as well. Okay. We actually edged this 5-minute, and we're going to come back to that later on. But coming out of this 15-minute gap, we left a 4-minute IFVG. Now, I like to see IFVGs like this get inverse rather than these small ass ones like this 3-minute right here. Like, this 3-minute is super, super tiny. Now, if this was the only fair value gap in this manipulation leg, that's completely fine. I would have went ahead and entered off this. But I'm waiting for this 4 minutes to get inverse, and there was no 5-minute. So as soon as this 4-minute got inverse, I actually took this on my top sub accounts. It happened so fucking quick. I didn't get a chance to enter off it on these accounts as well, and I'll go over the trade where I actually ended up making money in a second. But these were my top set plays. I went in with 5 micros, ended up taking 2 partials out once we hit this line right here, which was those relative highs with that 1 hour gap. As you can see, 10 a.m. opened up, we immediately ripped higher, and this was also I was like, okay, after this I can then look for shorts. My final TP was going to be up here towards previous day high. Didn't end up getting that. As you can see, we ended up having 2 more bearish candles, and after the second bearish candle, I just ended up full closing my position. I closed the rest of the 3 contracts, and I made about 350 bucks off this. So we can see how the rest of this plays out. Would have got stopped at break even anyway, and then we ended up continuing lower and lower and lower. Now at this point in time, I wanted short so bad towards these lows right here, right, and then all this LR, and obviously our higher time frame draws from previous day and from this morning. Didn't end up getting that. We got this 5-minute inversion right here. That was kind of a botched entry. You would have had a quick break even. I'm pretty sure, dude, I keep clicking the wrong one. I need to make the short one. This would have been a botched entry. And let's just go ahead and see how this played out real quick. Boom, you would have entered right here. And then target all this area right here. Okay. Now, I took this. Okay. It was a botched entry, but I took it. Why? Because my risk management was in check. I had a very quick break-even point, which I ended up getting stopped out at break-even right here. But something I could have journaled was this, right? We have this 15-minute gap right here. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. What the fuck am I talking about? I took this continuation out of it right here. We ended up coming and tapping into this 5-minute, and I took this continuation out of it. Now, both of these trades would have been break-even. Here is our continuation model, right? We had a 1-minute inversion out of it. This is the trade I took. I'm sorry. Stops were actually right here. Final TP was all the way down here towards those relatively belows that we've been talking about. And then this was a unfilled 15-minute gap. Now, this is something I can go ahead and journal. I ended up going break even right here at this internal low. But we ended up hitting this unfilled 15-minute gap. And this is something I journaled. I used good risk management, yes, and I took 2 partials out. I went in with 6 micros. I should have took half my position out at this point in time and let the other 3 run. I would have made a little bit more money, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And yeah, so with that being said, that was all for today because we just ended up chopping around. Let's see what we're doing right now. Let's see if there's anything important going on. Did look like we ended up coming up. Did we hit anything? We inversed this 15 minutes to the upside, and then we ended up shooting the bed back to the downside. Let's see if there was like a 5-minute continuation. It looks like there was a 5-minute continuation right now, actually. Let's go ahead and see how this is playing out. This actually doesn't look too bad. Yeah, we got the 1 minute right here. So if you guys are in this, this looks really, really solid. You guys can have your stops above this 1 minute gap right here. Obviously, go break even at least this low right here. It looks like we're bleeding towards it right now. And then your TP can go all the way down here towards these equal lows that we've been trying to target since fucking yesterday. So overall, yeah, this trade actually looks really fucking good. I might, just kidding. I was about to hop into it right now, but we just took out the break-even point, and holy shit, this shit is fucking dumping as we speak, and I hear Discord going off my ears, so you guys are probably talking about this in the Discord. So yeah. With that being said, let's go on over towards yesterday. All right, so regarding yesterday, here is my bias. I had a pretty neutral bias coming into this morning. I said I was leaning a little bit more bullish. I want to see how price reacts with the 1-hour PPR. We have a unfilled 4-hour beneath us that if I am going to long, I want to see it get hit first, okay? So coming in this morning, right? Let's go to the 4-hour real quick. Here's our unfilled 4-hour, okay? We had 15-minute intermediate lows, I'm pretty sure as well. There was these lows, and there was like these relatively lows. So at market open, I wanted to see us come down and take out these lows, and then we can look for longs from there. However, we ended up going the opposite way, completely fine, and we ended up coming into this 15-minute gap right here. And at this point in time, I'm like, okay, cool. We just came into this 15-minute gap. We are also inside of a 1-hour gap as well, right? We come to the hourly. We're inside of this 1-hour bearish gap as well. So if we get a clear like V-shaped recovery, this nice Judah swing off this area, I'll be going ahead and shorting. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. We ended up creating an order block right here. We got the inversion on the 1 minute right here. This kind of looked like the day prior to this one, and kind of looked like Monday's trade, which we're going to go over in a second. And then we had this sell side below right here, okay? If we come to the 5 minute, there was a tiny 5-minute gap right here that I ended up going break even at, and then I would have scaled half my position at these lows right here. Now if we come to the 1 minute real quick, I don't have the 30-second chart. Come to the 1 minute real quick, as you can see, depending on where you had your stop loss at, my stop loss was above here. My stop loss placement was just above this candle right here. Kind of got chopped around, ended up going break even right here. I took this on my evaluations, and I ended up getting break even on this trade. So at this point in time, I'm like, okay, we can look for a 5 minute down towards like these lows right here, or 5-minute continuation, and we ended up getting a continuation model right here. Let's go down to the 1 minute. Cool. That's like beautiful. A lot of people took this. Okay, what ended up happening? quick break even again, and this would have been a break even trade because price action is dog shit. We keep fucking missing these lows over and over and over again. There we go again. We created the equal lows. What do we end up doing? We end up reversing all fucking day, okay? There was a 5-minute IFEG that was beautiful if we took out the sell side. All we had to do was take out the sell side because there was a higher time frame SMT as well. Here's a 5-minute inversion. I faded this. A lot of people made money on this. I don't like it. I mean, if you made money on this, congratulations. My stops would have been below this 5-minute, and then my TP would have been towards this wick right here, which was the 9:30 data wick, or it wasn't data wick, but 9:30 market open wick. And again, yeah, the reason I didn't like this, look at our stop loss placement. There's fucking equal lows resting right at this. So this 5-minute could have failed so easily. However, it didn't, and look what it ended up doing. It literally ended up rallying the rest of the day, and we didn't see another like 5-minute down close candle for the next like hour and a half. And this is what the trade idea would have looked like. So, I mean, a lot of people made money on that. It is what it is. If you guys did, congratulations. Like I said, I didn't like it because of what was resting at our stop loss, but it is what it is. But yeah, that being said, let's go into the last day. All right, what if I told you guys I just fucking made all the videos for today, Monday and Tuesday, and my microphone was on fucking mute. So this is going to be third up, but oh my God, this is fucking annoying. So coming into Monday, at least, I was leaning a little bit more bullish. However, I wasn't looking to trade because we made basically a 1,200 point move overnight. We had this giant new week opening gap. We ended up coming down, what is this, 657 points, and then we ended up coming back up another like 500 and something. Yeah, about 500 points. So at this point in time, we had 15-minute intermediate lows. And again, I was leaning bullish just because if you look at the hourly chart, not the 67-minute chart, but if you look at the hourly chart, just clearly disrespecting bearish speed raise, respecting bullish, and then I wanted to see this new week opening gap get filled. We also had an unfilled hourly above. So at this point in time, I wanted to see us manipulate lower, and then we can look for longs towards like this high up here, and then to fill the new week opening gap. However, my bias was wrong. We ended up continuing higher, and right at market open, we got almost a Judas swing out of this new week opening gap. Now, I'm treating this new week opening gap as a fair value gap, so we basically swept out these intermediate highs. Now, if we can get a V-shaped recovery off of this, I would have no problem shorting, and that's exactly what we did. We got a 1-minute close, we got a 2-minute close, we got a 3-minute close. I wasn't necessarily worried about the 4 and 5-minute because the draw was pretty clear in my eyes. We had all this LR below, and then these 15-minute intermediate lows with these relative equal lows as well. So yeah, this was pretty valid in my eyes. I did enter prematurely. Like I said, I didn't wait for the 5-minute. However, here was the close for this. As you can see, the 3-minute close at the exact same time. So this was actually a break-even trade, and this was the only trade I took on Monday. And I had a pretty quick break-even. My break-even was right here. And as you can see, we end up trending down, edging my TP, and then we ended up coming back up and stopping me out at break-even, and then running towards TP. And the rest of the day, we did absolutely freaking nothing. There was this 3-minute BPR right here that we ended up respecting. However, there was no valid entry. Here it is right here. Here's a 3-minute BPR. We ended up coming up into it. And then there was this 1-minute short beneath. It probably would have been a break-even trade as well. This is what the trade idea would have looked like. Jesus Christ, I always pick the fucking wrong one. This is what the trade idea would have looked like. Like your thing would have been right there. And then maybe just aim for a 1-to-1, or you just have a fucked up stop loss placement. And you can aim it just for a 1-to-1, something like this. But yeah, overall, this wouldn't have hit either. This probably would have been break-even, or you would have took partials. But yeah, Monday was pretty shit, and I was expecting that, and we just ended up pretty much chopping out the rest of the day. So if you guys are looking to up your allocation, code LoeGpa on Lucid Trades, check that out. I know you guys probably just blew your accounts with CPI. That CPI candle was absolutely ridiculous. And then also Alpha Futures, they just released a 25K zero account, and then they fixed their allocation. So instead of 3, you can have a max allocation of 5 qualified accounts right now. So I do have a code for that. It's a weak ass code. Link in the description for that. Free Discord, all that good stuff. 1-on-1 mentorship. Link in the description for that stuff as well. That being said, I will catch y'all boys in the next one.